Hey everybody, good morning. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to my channel. My name's D'Artagnan Show, for those of you who don't know. I do daily devotionals by Williamson from her book, A Year of Miracles. I am holding today my tattered positive list. I hope you guys did make one of these. I've mentioned it in other videos, but it's been a while, so I really ought to be more consistent with bringing it up. These are great for really helping you focus on the positive. Sometimes when something happens that isn't so great or is traumatic, what happens is we forget about, all the good that we have, and we focus on the negative, which really puts a lot of bad energy out there. So I'm not saying ignore your negative. Remember, you have to process your traumas and your bad times. You have to process those emotions and go through the stages that you need to in order to heal. But the point is, don't get stalled in the anger and depression phase. So I think it's anger first, then depression. Don't get stalled there. And these positive lists are a way for you to know, hey, I do still have positive in my life. You don't have to have a home to stay positive. You don't have to have any of that, because there is beauty in the world. Even talking to some good people, just spending 5 minutes with a good person, having a laugh. Laughter is, it's vitamins. Laughter is like some of the best supplements you can ever, have. And you don't have to take it orally or anything else or by shot. You can just sit and have a good time with someone. And that's very important. I'll read you some of mine. I'm alive. I woke up today to take another breath, and I get to enjoy another day of beauty. I've got my beautiful grandchildren whom I love dearly, and I get to hug and hold and love. I have rewired my brain to think so much more positive than I used to. And I have no toxic people in my immediate environment. I've got wonderful support kitties who keep me entertained every day, and they do give me a laugh, I'll tell you that. I'm learning to feel instead of repressing emotions when things happen. Like I've had, multiple trauma in my past that were so consistent and consecutive, you didn't have time to deal with one before another one happened. When they build up like that, I know you guys out there know what I'm talking about. But, I have learned after 20 years of burying myself in it and getting stuck in depression and anger, that I wasn't focusing on anything positive. I was always complaining and acting victimized, and you don't want to do that. I'm surrounded by beauty. Yeah, it's so beautiful outside my window, and it's beautiful in my apartment. I've got nice things that, I want and need. I have a wonderful life, and I've had a wonderful life my whole life, even with all the stuff. I just focus on it more. And I'm thankful for all the wonderful people that gave me a laugh or that made me feel better. And even those moments where it could have been 5 minutes and you never see them again, maybe at a bus stop, or, you're in an elevator or in the lobby somewhere waiting for a store to open, something like that. It's people like that that can really get you through the tough times. And that's when you realize there's a lot of good people out there. They're not all bad at all. We just need more attention to the good. So, there you go. That's just some of the stuff. I talk about the people I've run into, and I thank, my higher power for leading me in the direction that, I ended up in. All you have to do is open your mind, open your heart up, and, your higher power will guide you to where you need to go. And you'll pick up a book, or you'll see a magazine, or someone will tell you something, and you'll go, wait a minute, maybe this is a sign. And the signs are there. You just have to pay attention. But okay, I think I rambled enough, didn't I? Okay, so here it is. We are, all of us are perfect creations of God. That was yesterday's. So here we are. It is the 29th of June, and it's Monday, day 180. It's a reflection on communicating with love. Miracles are created in an invisible realm. The Holy Spirit improves our style. He or she teaches us how to communicate from love instead of attack. Often people will say, well, I told them, I really communicated, but communication is a two-way street. It only occurs if one person speaks and the other one can hear them. We've all been in conversations where two people spoke and no one heard a thing. That's a that's a good point. We've also had conversations where no one said anything and both people understood everything perfectly, better than if they had been talking to each other. In order to truly communicate, we must take responsibility for the heart space that exists between us and another. It is that heart space, or the absence of it, which will determine whether communication is miraculous or fearful. So if it's out of anger or out of ego, it's going to be fearful. But if it's out of the heart, it's going to be out of love, then it's going to be miraculous. Okay, everybody, that's how we communicate with love. Make sure if you're having a conflict, try to be as from the heart as you can. All right, everybody, I will see you tomorrow, my fellow brothers and sisters. Thanks so much for joining in. Love you guys. Peace out. Bye. See you tomorrow.